The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
Let's talk about the positive life, the positive life, positive life. Let's talk about the positive life, positive life, positive life. Let's talk about the positive life, the positive life, positive life.
Okay, we are live. We are live. Listen, we are a little bit behind. No, we're a lot of behind. You don't wait. Don't you laugh, you. Technical difficulties do happen. My guest, thank you, David. He is online. Been online for a long time. I really appreciate you. Let me send my greetings to everybody real quick. Okay, to the Nigerians, Akara, to the Spanish, hola, to the French, bonjour, comment allez-vous, to the Indian people from the north and south, namaste, wanna come, to my Filipino friends and family, hi, como esta family, to the Koreans, annyeonghaseyo, to the Japanese, konnichiwa, to the Chinese, ni hao, to the Cantonese, ni hu, to the Guyana people from Africa, mima waju, to the Hawaiians, aloha. To the Pakistan, assalamu alaikum, Vietnamese people, xin chào, Ethiopian, Mediterranean, those who speak that language, salam and shalom, the Arabic people, marhaba, the Russians, kabazabu, and all the English people all over the world, hey, how y'all doing, what's up? Thank y'all so much for tuning in to my show. This is going to be seen and heard worldwide, not only on WBGR, but also on all nations, so better late than never. Say hi to everybody, Mom.
Hello.
We got to talk about, last week we had a guest of guests, oh my God. He, the Johnny Britt, trumpet player, singer extraordinaire. He did the movies, he was the series of The Temptations. Also, Hidden Figures. People know about that one, it's a true story. And also La La Land, as well as Marshall. And quite a few different things. He was actually a part of The Temptations with Otis. So that was really, really good. And yet last week we also had a little bit of problems, we did. But he was so sweet. He just played his, he was playing. And I tell you, it really calmed my nerves because I said, the technical difficulty every week, And don't you laugh because it can really happen, It's just, these are man-made things and they really do happen. I just have to have the patience of Job with it, you know what I mean? To say, these things do happen. It just does. But Kendall was so nice, though. He was just coming in. He just run up in here, run up. So he really is trying. I appreciate that. The control room, he really is. What I want to say, and hopefully he's still online. I want to say this. August this is a month, and I think we talked about, the wellness, but I do want to hit this about some up-to-date news as far as with the CDC. Remember the Royal Cruise, Caribbean cruise. What they're saying now, of course, is that they want all the adults, I guess 12 and older, they have to be vaccinated or else they could not cruise. The kids, of course, can't be vaccinated, but of course that the little kids under 12, their hands is everywhere. You know that. Kids, that's what they do. Toddlers, their hands is everywhere. So you got to constantly wash their hands, wipe their hands, all that. But anyway, what happened was 6 of them came down with COVID. Breakthroughs, right? 2 of them were the kids, and 4 were the ones who could get the vaccinated. So they are breakthroughs, right? And so what some of them are trying to say is that what they want to do is they want people to get the test like 3 days before they cruise. They might make that mandatory to get the test 3 days, because a lot of times they're asymptomatic, meaning they don't have the symptoms of COVID, but they have it maybe in the nasal passage or somewhere like that. So they want them to be tested 3 days beforehand, make sure the test is negative before they get on the cruise. Now, once they get on the cruise and go to the island, they got to make sure that they're not touching things, or make sure that they're still, washing their hands, using a Lysol spray, practicing social distancing, the mask, all that, when they get on the island, when they touch things. Because again, it's really all in the hands. It's really is. You're touching things and people, you want to scratch something right here and then you end up getting the COVID. That's the problem. Again, the biggest culprit, of course, is the hands. Washing the hands with soap and water for 20 seconds, or if you don't have that, the hand sanitizer. We talked about the social distancing, Lysol spray, all that. Eating healthy. We talked about the vitamin D3, which is the sunshine vitamin. Eating foods that are high in that, high in vitamin A, high in vitamin C, to help to boost your natural immune system up. That's what's up, okay? Now, in the DC news, of course, Mayor Browser, they were talking about, the Kennedy Center, of course, you can't even go to the Kennedy Center unless you have been vaccinated. You have to show your card, right? Well, also what they're saying is, this was some time ago, this is not too long ago, they put out something that said, the ones who are vaccinated, they want to make sure that, that they are vaccinated. But the ones who are not vaccinated, what they have is they wanted everyone in D.C., I'm talking about D.C., and I'm sure every county, every state have their own little thing. But they said that you can go to the various libraries in DC and get these kits. This is what it looks like. I don't know if you see it. It says, get tested, wear your mask, wash hands, keep your distance. So these are the kits. You open it up and you can actually swab your own nose. It has the directions in it. This is an at-home COVID-19 testing kit. Test yourself, and then once you get the sample, you pack it a certain way. It'll tell you all the instructions. Just read the instructions. And then there's a drop box at the libraries where you put it in. And there's information where you fill out. If you have insurance, you can fill out. If you don't have insurance, you don't have to fill out that information. Or if you have insurance and maybe your insurance company say, well, we only do one-time testing. I don't know. You have to check with your insurance company. If they only do one-time testing, you can just put on there like you don't have insurance, or just leave that blank is what they were saying, and just drop that in. They will do the testing for you. Now, we just got the word, was it yesterday, on the email about the medical staff. Everyone has something to do with medical. I don't know if it's besides therapy, but I know medical. They said that they're trying to make it mandatory that you do get the vaccination. Other than that, you can't work in DC. That's what they're saying. So they're going a step further, seeing that those who are unvaccinated, which I just feel that, wow, what is that? I just feel everyone should be tested because of the breakthroughs. No one is exempted. You still have to wear your mask. Wherever you go, whether you are vaccinated or not, you still got to wear your mask. It doesn't, you're not exempted from that. And when they did one of the tests, because I had mentioned this some time ago, and I didn't make that up, they said that the ones who were vaccinated was the ones that had the COVID in their nostrils. Even though they were asymptomatic, but still they had it there. So my thing is, some people don't want to get vaccinated. We have a lot of people, even nurses, that don't want the vaccination. A lot of people don't because of because of their beliefs. And again, this is America. I think we should still have choice. You have choice, because other than, we're real short staffed. We already don't have a lot of nurses. A lot of nurses are leaving the field because of so much stuff. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Plague after plague after plague. And I know we don't have enough nurses where I can or any of them can really take off and have a decent vacation, because the nursing staff is not a lot. It's just not. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Again, people may agree and may not agree. That's you. But I still feel that there should be a choice. And if you test the ones that are not vaccinated, test the ones that are vaccinated. Because this right here, they can be the ones that have it in their nasal passage. This should be for everybody, all right? Nobody should be exempt. So they were saying once a week, get a test and then get your results. And you can do that. I think it could be free for most people, right? Okay. Also, what I wanted to say, I had to say this. I went to get my driver's license renewed. Well, guess what, people? If you don't know it, you can't bring your hospital birth certificate. You cannot bring, I had 2 forms that were related to birth, and they would not take it. You literally have to go to, I think it's vital statistics. You have to either order it, and it's not cheap. It costs good money. And if you want it overnighted, it costs even more money. So they have it. Now, Bethesda, I didn't know this. Bethesda Naval Hospital, because I was born there. Bethesda Naval Hospital, all their records are in D.C. However, you can still go to an office in Silver Spring, and they can download, I guess, and give you your birth certificate. But that's Monday through Friday. If you work certain hours you can't get there, and it's not open on Saturday and Sunday. So, in other words, once you fill out the paperwork, even if it's online, you got to wait 10 to 15 days to get your birth certificate. Just know that. And you cannot get your driver's license renewed not without that. You have to have either or a passport, you have to have your original Social Security. They want you to have at least, I think, 2 bills, like maybe phone bills, or if you rent, or a statement from your bank, or something like that. They want those informations. That's what they want now. So I think what made it bad for us is that, we have a lot of people coming in illegally. And so now we have to suffer because of that. It used to be that it was okay. You could get a passport, all that, with just what you had, what was given to your parents. Now you got to go through extra stuff just to say you're legally here. And African Americans, we're here, brought here against our will, our ancestors. But we have to go through so much because of all this, illegal stuff going on, and people still coming over the border and different things. So everyone now has to suffer because of that. I don't think it's right, but I understand. What do you think about that? And also give some nuggets, Mom.
Well, that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Things have really changed, and things will never be the same. I am concerned about conscience. You see myself, people are not being good to their conscience, and I would say, be good to your conscience, because your conscience is the voice of God, telling you what is what. And then if you override your conscience and go on and do whatever you think you're big enough to do, then the conscience is going to set aside and be solid. And therefore, you will find yourself doing everything that you think you're big enough to do. You will be just like an automobile on a high hill coming down not a straight line, but a very curvy street without a brakes. That means you find yourself, you're out of control. You end up doing everything that you think you're big enough to do. But before you get to that point, go back to the Lord and let the Lord straighten you out and tune in to Him again and do what He say do.
All right, that's good. Let's go on a commercial break because my guest is online and it's been a long time. Break time, please. Break, yeah. Thank you, Mom.
Let's talk about the positive.
Let's Talk Positive Life with Rainier airs live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The show is seen worldwide and has a variety of topics, including discussions from medical, community affairs, live entertainment, and everyday conversations with guests, including the entertainment capital, Hollywood, California. Let's Talk Positive Life reaches a global audience with over 300,000 views every Wednesday on Roku, Fire Stick, Facebook, and WBGR Network. Let us advertise your business. For more sponsor, donation, and advertising information, or to join the conversation as a guest, contact Rainier Montgomery at www.letstalkwithrainier.com and click on Contact Us. So spread the word. Sponsor opportunities are now available. Let's Talk Positive Life with Rainier.
right?
I don't know.
Did you talk to her?
I wanted to. I couldn't make my legs move.
She got to you, huh?
I wish I'd said something to her.
Maybe you'll see her again.
Maybe.
Hey, Ray.
What's up?
I'm gonna need you to deliver some proof sheets for me today.
That's cool. Alonzo.
Yeah.
When do I get to start the next phase of my apprenticeship?
Huh?
I've been assisting you a few months now, and I want to start shooting.
I know, but the last few people we've shot have been very picky. I've worked with them before. They trust me. And if they see that I'm letting you conduct the session, they may feel like I'm shortchanging.
I know, but...
Look, you're a good worker. And I know you're ready. There's someone coming in this evening.
No?
Yeah.
Well, see, there you go.
Wait, she's supposed to be very shy. She's gonna need someone to make her feel very comfortable.
Come on, Alonzo.
We'll see. Now go and deliver those proofs for me. Thank you. Ah, here we go. Jocelyn, this is my assistant Horatio. Horatio Green. This is Jocelyn Green.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure's mine. I'm sorry, I feel like I met you before.
I don't know.
This is nice.
Horatio, this is, I'm sorry.
My name is Tyrone. I gotta go to work. Call me if you need a ride or something.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get started. Great. And remember, we're having fun, right? So we have to smile just a little bit and have, okay, good, just checking. That's good. And do me a favor, will you cross your arms the other way? Put them the other way, cross them, just like that, cross your arms. Great. And do me a favor and rotate your head a little that way, to the right, little more, and a little less. Okay. You know what, Jocelyn? I'm gonna let Horatio take a few pictures if that's all right with you.
Okay.
All right, Ray, why don't you step up, take a few.
What do you want me to do?
Flirt with the camera. If I can see it, the camera will catch it.
Seduction?
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's good. That's good. Yep. That's nice. I like that. You hadn't seen anything yet. Jocelyn,
Yes?
look. I want to see
Tyrone
you
is my
again.
boyfriend.
I know.
Do you like me? Do you like me?
Yes. Yes.
Do you need me?
I do. I do.
Touch me.
I want to.
Do you like me?
I want to.
Come to me. Come to me. To me.
I want to do right by my brother, my mother. I want to protect my family, my friends. But I don't know if I'm strong enough. Because sometimes I feel like I might lose it.
I'm done with this and you are
Where else was I gonna go? You are all I got.
My guest, Hollywood's own filmmaker and producer, David Wendell Boykins.
Did you like my little mini? Okay, we are back, y'all. I know that y'all enjoyed looking at my guest, and he fine, yeah. I call him the Hat Man. Yes, I do. I said, can't nobody wear a hat, and don't you guys get jealous either. Yeah, this man can wear a hat. He be behind there looking with the hat on. I mean, like, yeah, you know what? Yes. Let me do my little greet on, because he over there laughing. I know he giggling over himself right there. Dave, I hear you. Okay. David Wendell Boykins, native of Alexandria, Louisiana, because it's in Virginia also. He's Hollywood's director, actor, filmmaker, and producer, and he has well over, check this out, 20 years of experience in the film career, producing and also directing small, short films, and he is executive director of his own corporation. It's called Dave House Productions Corporation. His latest genius film is entitled Mama's Song, and it's a film of forgiveness and so much more. Like I told you, I call him the cool hat man. When you see him, I don't think nobody can wear a hat like him. Don't y'all try it. Y'all got your own thing going. This is his signature for me here. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the one and only David Wendell Boykins. Yay! Hey, David.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you also, because I tell you, we had the technical difficulty, man. We ain't starting until way later, so we're going to be on for a little bit. Listen, talk about, you grew up in Louisiana, and you talked about, I think you're kind of like a foodie. Talk about when you were there, and then, of course, when did you leave there to go where and ended up in California? Hollywood.
Well, okay, so yeah, I grew up in Alexandria, Louisiana, graduated from Peabody Magnet High School, 4 Horses, and then I went to Southern University.
Yeah.
Did that, graduated, started working in the banking industry, started working at Liberty Bank, which is a black-owned bank that comes out of New Orleans, but they had a couple of branches in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay. So
I was working there for a while, and I just kind of got disenchanted with what I was doing, where I was going as far as, that career. It just wasn't satisfying me yet. And I had done a couple of little, things over the years, just not really over the years. My last year at Southern, I did one play, and right before that, I did an acting class at school just because I needed an elective. But I ended up doing a play, The Color Museum, and when I did that, it just kind of opened the world to me. Like, wow, I really enjoyed it.
Wow.
And I had a very good friend living in Washington, D.C. Well, actually living in Maryland, but working in D.C.
Okay.
And so he was like, look, man, you can come out here, because I was starting to, I was starting to get, to be honest, I was starting to get a little depressed in Baton Rouge, and felt like, my world was kind of spinning, and I didn't really know what was my next move, because I wasn't happy doing what I was doing, but I spent all this time getting a degree and all this kind of stuff in order to prepare myself to go out into the workforce. And it just wasn't what I wanted to do, so I was getting worse and worse. And I think my family knew, my friends knew, and so they would make suggestions for me to do stuff, but I was in such a place I couldn't really hear it.
Yeah.
But, one day, I literally just got up, I called my dad, and we had this long, 2-3 hour conversation. And by the time I got off the phone with him, I was like, I'm leaving. That was one of the last things that I told him before we hung up. And he was like, cool. And I packed up everything. I sold furniture, and I was driving away in 2 weeks.
Wow.
From Baton Rouge. And I headed on to D.C. and started acting and stuff there. And, that the rest is kind of history from there. So that just got me onto the trek of going in this direction. But I mean, it's like I love Louisiana, but, you get to a point to where you need to see something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to experience a different thing.
Yeah.
And entertainment or the pursuit of that wasn't something that was known to me. I mean, growing up the way I did, I mean, people on TV, I don't know if I even considered them to be real people. They were just things on the TV. It was just, I didn't look at it like I look at them now, It was completely separate from reality. As opposed to now, I know that that's something that I can aspire towards and go towards and educate myself towards and fight to be a part of that world. At that time, I thought it was something that was just completely outside the scope of reality, so it wasn't anything to pursue.
Yeah.
But got to D.C., man, and I started on a theater that was close to 14th and U, the Source Theater. I don't know if it's still there anymore. But I started doing stuff with the Source Theater, kind of was like an intern at first, and helped around the theater and, kind of cleaned up and did things like that. And I started stage managing little projects or what have you, and that led me to doing lighting design for theater. So I started doing light design stuff at the Source Theater before I started acting.
Wow.
And found that I liked it, but it showed me a different aspect of the theater. Like I kind of like knowing things all the way around.
Yeah, that's good.
So that I have a full understanding of what it is I'm trying to do. And so me starting off doing lighting and stuff and then going into acting, I understood a little bit better about why I was on the stage, why I was standing in that particular position, than say some of the other actors who didn't really understand what was going on with the lighting and stuff. And that gave me a little bit of an edge, I think. But then I got cast. I got cast in this film, in the TV show Homicide, Life on the Street.
Okay.
They were casting that in Baltimore. I got cast in an episode of that. Small little role, wasn't that big. But I got the big head, was like, okay, I think I'm ready for the big time. So I packed up my wagon and I moved to Beverly Hills, that is.
Come on here. Now,
I moved to L.A. and then, but I didn't know anybody. I just packed up my car and just drove out on faith.
Yes.
I didn't have a place to stay. So it was crazy. Those first few years were kind of harsh and rough. And after a while, I lost my car. I, just was having some issues. So I was like, I bought a bike, and I would take the bus and work my catering job and educational theater job and the different other jobs I did over the next few years, just to be able to, try to audition or whatever. And I started writing little short scenes and putting them up on, one-act play festivals and then turned those into short films. And I just kept on going with the short films and theater productions. Eventually I wrote my first full-length play called Applause for Miss E.
Okay.
And put that out. And, I just kept going to the next project, just kept, taking stuff I would see and either shoot it or put it up on stage in a one-act type scenario. And then do a full I could.
Yeah.
So I produced a couple of full-length plays, and did a couple of short films, and then I decided to go to film school.
There you go. And the thing about it is with that, I thank you for being, just real with yours, because sometimes it does take that leap of faith to just go and do it, not knowing what's going to be next, but having the faith and it will pan out. It worked out. That's a wonderful thing. But, because a lot of times people think that Hollywood filmmakers, directors, producers started with this silver spoon in their mouth, that all of a sudden it just came. And it literally came, majority of people who have had, it came from humble beginnings. Somewhere, starting maybe in your car, not having a place to stay, but having that faith to say, okay, I know I'm going to make it. I came here for a purpose, God, and you're going to have to lead, and God, and He does direct you, and all of a sudden you find yourself somewhere, you be like, wow, it just can happen. I got to ask you about this the applause for Miss E trailer featuring Vanessa Calloway, who is huge. How did you even get her to be in this? Did you go to her and say, hey, I have this play or this movie, and I want you to feature you? Talk about that a little bit.
Well, that process was interesting, because actually a gentleman named Michael Whaley approached me. He knew some of the people that were in the play when I produced it myself. When I directed it and my partners produced it, and when he had gotten a deal with a production company to be kind of like a production. They would give him some money to produce a play. They would film it and then put it out on DVD. Mm-hmm. So he had done that a couple of times. Someone told him about Applause for Miss E, and he had the connections with the talent.
Okay.
So he ended up directing that for the DVD. Okay. And so he was the one that did that. So I was one of the producers on that project, but I didn't direct that one.
Okay.
And so that's how all it came about. But it was beautiful to watch them rehearse, and I had an opportunity to have a few words with Vanessa Calloway and Roger Guinevere Smith, and Vinay Watson was somebody that was kind of in the circle of the people that had produced my play in the first place.
Yeah.
So all that became like a family type of situation. So it was a good experience for what it was, because at the time I was doing so much work, like catering and things like that, just trying to pay my rent.
Yeah.
To where my career stuff wasn't really advancing like I wanted it to. I was spending all of my time just trying to pay rent, really. So when that opportunity came, I just felt like, okay, I need to do something. And yes, I would have liked to have directed it, but this was the opportunity that came to me, and I gotta push forward with something, because right now everything's just sitting on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a decision that I had to make. That I have worked since then very hard to not have to make that same decision. Not because anything went wrong. It's just that I want to be the director of the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so that experience happened, and it was great. But then after that, I kept, kind of pushing for myself to do more stuff and continue to be at the front of the projects that I am involved in.
That's awesome. And then, David, now you're known pretty much as an expert storyteller. So, a lot of times, there are so many things, so many plays, so many stories, so many movies that are on TV. And so how important then is it to tell the story, to captivate the audience, to keep them intrigued, to say, oh, I want to see what's next. Even when we talk about the villain and the good, so we're talking about for the protagonist and the antagonist, to help to keep your audience, because sometimes people do get bored. They can look at something for just a little while, then they're ready to turn the channel. So how do you tell that story? Is it a method of that to keep them like wondering and like in suspense, like, oh, I gotta see what's going on. Oh, I gotta see what's going on. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's that? Just like how you did Mama Song. When you did Mama Song, I'm like, how you think of that? That's just genius, man. That's genius. To the end, I was like, wow. How do you even think of that? Because do you have like a rooting section or someone who's gonna tell you that, hey man, that's gonna work, that's not gonna work, you gotta rethink that? Talk a little bit about that, because that's very, very important, because like I said, there's a lot of people out there who are filmmakers, who are producers, you know. Talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
Well, for me, honestly, okay, first off, it's like respecting, to me, it's like respecting what it is that you're doing. Like, first off, you're right. Everything it starts with the story. And if you do not have a story, and more specifically, if you do not have a script, a well-honed script, then you're kind of shooting blind, and you don't really have the roadmap in order to tell your story. But for me, it always goes back to the characters.
The character.
Like, when I say it like this, when I wrote, like I said, Flawed was my first full-length play, and my goal, and I mean, I literally was kind of like, that was my ongoing mantra. It was like, I want people to want to play these characters as actors. So I have to make these characters interesting enough so that as soon as you hear what they're doing or read what they're doing, you want to play them because they have something. So it didn't matter if I had my lead character all the way down to that secondary antagonist that only has like one or two scenes.
Yeah.
Each when that character that has one or two scenes came in, when that character walked on stage, we knew that character was there. I mean, and it wasn't about doing anything tricky for me as far as like doing something loud or having some crazy light thing happen just to make you think something's going on. I believe in substance with the characters. They have to have a certain reason to do the things they do.
Yeah.
They don't have to say that reason, or we don't have to talk about that reason. But when I'm writing the character, that character has to have a reason for doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I have found that most appealing characters are flawed. They most times, like your protagonist most times wants to do the right thing, but because of their own issues and problems, sometimes that right thing doesn't always turn out like they wanted, and sometimes they will make a choice to do something that's completely against what they want to do in order to achieve something for the greater good. So they'll do some stuff, but that's motivated by their own personal stuff. And once you found that, then you can kind of let the characters write themselves. It gets to the point to where you set these characters up, and then you create a scene to where, okay, I'm putting these two characters together.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And that was the thing that I noticed when we did Applause, that by the time everyone, the audience learned about the characters and saw the characters, when I'm in the second act, when I put two characters together, before they say a word, the whole audience is like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh my God, this must be crazy. Because I've built up each character in a way that lets them know that something's about to go down because these characters can't help themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I followed that through all the things that I've done. Even if I'm directing someone else's piece, I will look at the material and find what it is about the characters that are heartfelt and are troubled and are, yearning for something more, or anything that really applies to that particular character. And that's the point. That's the part of that character that I try to pull out when I'm filming something or putting something up on stage. I try to pull out that thing that they try to hide, the characters, or maybe they don't even know that that's a problem, but the audience is able to see that that's a problem. so that as they confront different obstacles, we kind of have an excitement as to how they're going to deal with those obstacles. You know?
Yeah, and I guess that's even how you know, when you have, you know, you decide on what you want to do, what the plot is, and then you pick, you know, what actor would really bring it, what actress would really bring this part to life. That's genius. Even when I looked at the Mama song, I was like, he thought about that? I mean, where did he get that from? You know what? That was like, whoa. And so I'm thinking on that one, I said, he got to have a part 2 on that one, because I mean, you got to have a part 2. I don't know if you are.
Well, I mean, and I already have part 2 written.
Do you?
Yes, I already have another feature film written. Well, to be honest, that Mama song started off as the flashback aspect of a feature film that I had already written.
Really?
And when it came time for me to try to put something together, I just didn't have the funding to do the full film.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, maybe there's a way for me to put this out in a way that would allow me to attract funding for the rest of it. And so I started off with just shooting the flashback aspect. But then as I got to, you know, because it was a flashback aspect in a feature film, the main story was in that feature film. So for me to make Mama Song a full story, I ended up having to plug in some holes, because all I was going to be doing with a lot of that stuff is just flashing back, showing a certain scenario, but not really getting into the weeds of it.
Yeah.
Just showing that this is what the situation was, and then coming back to the present day.
Yeah.
So when I was shooting the whole thing, I decided to go ahead and fill in a lot of gaps, which is what extended it enough to be, you know, the length that it is and stuff like that. And so that was that. So now I still have the full length, which is ready to go. I mean, because the flashback stuff was really short, so in the full length feature. So yeah, man, I have a script ready to go to be produced. If someone wants to talk to me about that, I am open and available.
Okay.
You know?
Would you say then that Mama Song or Applaud, what would you consider would be your best work?
What I'm writing right now.
Okay, talk about that. You gotta talk about that. What you writing right now?
I'm writing a film. I'm on my last draft right now. That it deals with. It's a coming of age story of a young woman who her bloodline is ancient and royal, and prophecy has it that a queen from in the past 50,000 years. Well, actually, I'm making it to where it's about 11,000 years ago, which is, if you get into the metaphysical stuff with it a little bit, that's the end of the last golden age, about 11,000 years ago, as far as time is going. And this queen existed at the end of the last golden age of, human, not human existence, but of existence.
Okay.
And so the queen, when she died, there was a prophecy saying that when the earth needed her again, she would return. And so this girl is special, but all of her ties to her heritage are gone. So she knows something is special about herself, but she begins a journey to try to figure it out. Her mom died giving birth to her, and her mom is the only person who knew who she really was. So she goes out trying to find the answers. But at the same time, an ancient evil is hunting her down in order to basically, be powered to live forever. I've kind of put it in the vein of kind of like an Eve's Bayou meets Unbreakable. M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable. It's like both of those two films kind of represents what I'm going for with this script here. and I'm extremely excited about it. And so, yes, I think this is some of the best writing I've ever done.
Well, then, doggone it, I'm going to have you come back. Pam, you're going to make that happen. I got to have David back.
Yeah,
talk about
got to make it happen.
You got to make that happen. Is there any actors, actresses, even producers or film writers, filmmakers that you dream of working with or would love to work with?
There are a bunch, actually. I mean, not the pressure of names, but I mean, I like the actors that most people like. I mean, I would love to work with, say, a Don Cheadle, or Idris Elba, actually. I mean, I just love his work and the way he gets down. I mean, he's just a good actress. Viola Davis, of course.
Yeah.
You know, who wouldn't want to work with Viola?
Yeah.
But, I mean, there are several people that, you know, I would like to work with. I would love to work with Morgan Freeman. One, because Morgan Freeman is actually one of those actors that I have learned a lot from as an actor, watching. Some of the ways he does the things that he does, I have literally, you know, pretty much just going to school watching him, you know. I just love the way he puts it down. You know, the way he portrays the character that he has portrayed.
Okay.
That's awesome. And you know, you got newer people that I can't think of their names right now. But yeah, I want to work with talent. Like, I believe that you have to, as a director, you need to create an environment on set, on stage, that allows your actors to be the best that they could be. Every actor don't need the same stuff. So the time that I would spend with one actor, I may not need to spend any time with a different actor. But once you figure out what it is each person needs, you kind of allow them to get that, and you stand out the way. You know, they say that 90% of directing is casting, and I firmly agree with that. I mean, you know, your film will not do. You can do all the fancy camera work and, you know, lighting stuff and, you know, explosions, and you can do all these fancy things. But if your cast isn't hitting on all cylinders, I believe in ensemble performances. So I have a way of casting my stuff to where I like to cast my lead, and then I cast around my lead. So, yeah, you know, someone might have Taraji P. Henson's phone number on speed dial and be like, we can get, you know, Taraji to play this role. I'm like, well, but her acting style with my lead or this person that's already attached doesn't quite work. I need a different flavor to match up with the person that I have than that. And so, not that she's not, in fact, I think she's phenomenal. What I'm saying is, I don't go for the names. I go for the ensemble.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I go for what's going to make the ensemble work.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't, you know, sometimes that's a different actor. In fact, I've had several times, and this has actually happened a couple of times, where the best actor, and I mean that both male and female, walking into the room, I could not cast. Because one, they may have been too old for the character compared to the person they may have been playing opposite of. You know what I mean? Or their personality was too broad compared to the person that they're going to be playing opposite of that I already have. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, you know, for whatever reason, so I will bring in someone that matches the energy of my cast that I'm building, so that there's a energetic flow of the way the characters interact and mingle, And I did a little bit of that for Mama Song. Although Mama Song, my actors did a phenomenal job in that film. I'm so proud of them every time I look at it and hear about, the response that people are having. My actors did a phenomenal job. They really took it seriously. They worked with each other, and that's what made it great. I did have the opportunity to put someone that was a little more known into one of the roles, but that person did not work for the character with the rest of the cast. Okay. They just didn't work. It would have been like the oddball, and everyone would have known it. Yes, I probably would have gotten a little more push because that person was a little bit better known. But I prefer having a good product. I really fight for that. That's why I was so happy. The film that Regina King just did with Sam Cooke and, talking the story of Malcolm X and them meeting. You know the movie I'm talking about? It just came out a few months ago, where she did casting. She had names of people that she could have dropped in, but she's like, if they're not willing to audition, I don't want to deal with them. And I think she was doing exactly what I have been doing. Yeah. She wanted the best person for the role. Yeah. And she wanted that ensemble to click so that they went in together and they going back and forth. You could just feel the energy. Yeah. You can have the biggest name in Hollywood up in there, but if it don't work with the ensemble, you're doing more damage than good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
David, I'm glad that you're real with that because, a lot of people need to hear that because a lot of times people do say, oh, you're playing favoritism. This person is well known. However, if that person doesn't fit the script, you got to, do something else and let them go and get people who do fit in. I think that a lot of people need to know that who are putting films together, who are, directing, are producing, to know that, look, it's more to it than just this popularity. It has to fit so that it'll make sense and so that the message will
now at the very same time, I do understand. I mean, people putting money into stuff, they need to know that there's going to be a return on their investment. Yeah. And that's a business aspect. So it really becomes a thing of trying to find a healthy balance when it comes to all of that. You know what I mean? Just finding the pieces that really work for your piece. And if you can, or if someone that has a little more clout and pull that can add some notoriety to your piece is available and it works, maybe you do a little bit extra to make it work better. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, but David, would you then?
It's got to be about the ensemble. It's got to be about the finished product to me. Okay. Go ahead.
But would you then, if you want this person in it, would you then tweak it, to make it fit? Have you done that as far as maybe tweak certain things and say, let's do it this way instead of that way so that it will kind of fit? Okay.
Yes, I have. Now, because I am all about story, actually, to be quite honest with you, when I have done that, it's like a couple of, actually I'm thinking of one of my earliest short films, where, I just had to kind of make some changes because a particular actor just couldn't do it, so I had to bring somebody else in. And for them to do it, it just, they were, it was a light skin versus a dark skin type thing, and some of the dialogue, was more for the light skinned actress that I had before, and, so I was like, I need to change the stuff. However, when I did change it up a little bit, and I find that this happens with me sometimes, it put a different spin on what I already had. And so thinking about those changes, I ended up going deeper into what I was trying to do with the story. And I ended up making something a little bit better than it was before, simply because I sat down and had to kind of work something again, Yeah. And so sometimes you can have some very powerful moments with that, and very things that actually work out better because of that. So, those types of changes are good, And so I've done that before when I needed to do it. And, it's all art, If a painter is painting and they just slide their brush just a half a centimeter too far than they really wanted to do, but then they figure out how to paint around it to where it works into the full painting as a whole. Well, who can say that was a mistake?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
you know
good.
what I mean?
That's good. That time just goes, man. That time just goes. We got to do a part 2. But you had a saying, something that you said, I think it was on IG, because I do to follow you. You said, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, no one else will. I love that saying because, it's like you got to invest in yourself. You know what I'm talking about? You think that you're worth whatever, you better be willing to invest in yourself. Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do. I mean, no one cares about the script idea that's sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
No one cares about the idea that's still in your computer or still in your head. You got to put it on paper, and then when you get your resources together, you got to get it out. And if no one else is going to give you some resources to help you get it out, you got to get it out yourself.
Yeah.
Or you don't exist. You know what I mean?
See? Yeah, that's it. David, hit on the David House Productions Corporation, and also tell us how can we support you in regards to buying or the Mama Song or any of the other movie short films that you've done. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, right now I am pushing Mama Song. Mama Song is out on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And you can look it up on Amazon Prime, Mama Song, and it'll pop up. And that right now is what is that I'm pushing right now to get going. I'm hoping to have some additional news in the near future about other places that Mama Song is going. But right now we're at Amazon Prime, so people can support that. That supports me tremendously if they watch that on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Other than that, I have a couple of things that's in the works right now, but that are not out yet. So I don't have anything to report as far as other things. But people can reach out and look at what I've done and stuff like that on my website, which is www.davehouseproductions.com.
Okay.
DAVE houseproductions.com, and they can look me up on social media on Instagram, Dave House Productions, and on Facebook, Dave House Productions, or my name, David Wendell Boykins, and I will come up, and people can hit me up there. I am about, I'm very close to being signed on to a project in Louisiana, the documentary that's coming up that I may be doing in September.
Wow.
It's cool. I'm being brought in as a director on that, and there's a possibility right now. I'm working with a colleague of mine on a script that we are looking to shoot towards the end of the year, where I'll be playing the lead role as an actor.
Okay.
So I'm working as a writer and an actor on that project, and the rest is stuff that's in the percolating stage that's not really worth mentioning yet. But hopefully, in the near future, there are a couple other things that will be coming. But soon I'll be being out there in several different capacities, and I like it like that.
There you go. He like it like that.
I like it like that.
And he like it like that. Yeah. Give some shout outs, David, to who you want to give some shout outs to.
Oh, man. Shout outs. I mean, shout outs to my family for supporting me all these years. With my mom, my sisters, my brother-in-laws, boy Mike, and but my girl, who has held me down for years, Malika Blessing.
Malika.
Malika is a godsend. We first started working. Well, we worked together on a play where we were acting together. Where I was playing the lead in that play. That's how we met. But then after that, years later, I brought her in when I was directing a play, and she was the production. And I brought her in as a production manager and an actor on the show. And her that union between she and I, we knew from the beginning was, okay, this is going to work. And I don't see doing anything without her. And that's my dog. So,
it's your dog.
You know?
Yeah, she's doing it. I love her and Tiffany. I think it's Tiffany also.
They're
They're really, really hilarious too. They have some, they're kind of comedy also, but they also, have their part where they are very, very serious as well. I think she did a photo shoot.
Well, I went out to LA last month to help shoot a couple of the episodes that they have for their web series that they have coming out.
Okay.
Soon. So I don't know if they put any materials out on that yet, but the name of it is Tess and Jackie.
That's right, yeah.
And so Tess and Jackie, and it should be cool. Yeah. I'm excited to see it be launched and put out there in full. So yeah, that's something else. I helped with camera. I did camera work for them on a couple of episodes, and I directed the title video, the intro video for the web series. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Hey, look, and I know you had your hat on doing it too. Yes, you did. Yes. Come on, here, cool. Yeah.
Look, I mean, next time you have me on, if y'all have it on video, then I have my hat.
There you go. We do have. What do we have? We have we can do Zoom. I just gotta get with Pam and see. We could probably do Zoom, but probably like how you have your computer there and just take it off. Because it's always like what is it, behind time, and we can just see you there and then put you maybe on the phone so that we can still talk and then we still see you live, and then make sure though that you wear one of them cool hats. Yes.
Just let me know and I'll be there.
Yes. Thank you so much. That time just goes. I got to get up on out of here. They just told me you got to wrap that thing up, girl. Yeah. But thank you so much for just being on my platform. I love you. Keep doing what you're doing. You got your signature. I already told you. If anybody say you the hat man, Renee Montgomery from Washington D.C., the one that gave you the title. Yes, I did. Yeah. Okay. Have a good one. Have a good one, David. Okay.
Thank you for having me. You
Absolutely.
Too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. He's so cool. The hat man. Yeah, look at. Yeah, David. Yeah, okay. I'm real with mine. But anyway, listen, that time just goes, man. That time, but even though we had the technical difficulty, but still, everything worked out. To God be the glory. I love that it still worked out. And people, please repost, share my show. Facebook now, I don't think you can do it like live anymore, but I do post it on different group sites and also some family sites. And it's going to be on WBGR on demand. It's going to be on Roku. It's going to be Amazon Fire Stick under WBGR. Also, it's going to be re-aired on All Nations TV Network, which is a Roku TV channels. Sunday is going to be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and wherever you are in the world, whatever that time is for you. Monday is going to be 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, 5:30 in the morning a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just convert it to wherever you are, and that's it's going to be on All Nations TV. To God be the glory, yeah. So anyway, listen, let me do my goodbyes to everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and please repost, share my show. Y'all know it's the bomb. This man right here, he really got it going on. And he did some other ones called like Martin, and which was great. And then I think it was the Black Angels over Tuskegee, I think it is, and Tulsa. He had quite a few things that he's done. As far as his, he's just an expert at what he does. Perfectionist. Really, he likes it like that. Let me say my goodbyes to the Nigerians, Odabo, to the Spanish, adios, to the French, au revoir, to the Indian, velosta, Koreans, annyeonghaseyo, to the Pakistan, aloha paz, to the Vietnamese and Ethiopians and those who speak that language, ciao, to the Italians, arrivederci, the Russians, das vidanya, and English people, see y'all later, bye, have a nice night, I'm tired, about to go home, go to bed, have a good one, y'all. Hi.
Let's talk about the positive life. The positive life.